I'm planning instruction for an SEL skills intervention. And one question to wrestle with is, what is the scope of my instruction? Is it going to be narrow and focused or broad? And the symbols you see on this slide, those 5 symbols, represent the 5 SEL standards or competency areas. And then each grade level has its own benchmarks of where we expect developmentally kids to be. And just like a reading or a math intervention, really I'm trying to see where those gaps are in learning and close those gaps. So when you look at the left side with narrow focus, it could be I'm running a friendship skills group, a tier 2 gen ed friendship skills group, or an anger management group. So right there in the name, it's really clear that I am going to be focusing. I'm not trying to hit all those standards areas and cover all these skills. I'm narrowly focused on a certain kind of profile of skill gaps that a student is going to have. Maybe it's friendship skills. But let me give you another example. I'm a special education teacher, and I have a group or a class of students who are on the autism spectrum, and they struggle with reciprocal conversation skills. So transitioning between speakers, keeping topics connected, for example. So I might meet with those students, say, twice a week, and we just do exercises and drills related to practicing those reciprocal conversation skills. So it's really, really narrow, the focus of what we're working on, but it's a really pivotal skill for that group of students. On the right side, though, we have broad, and this could apply in gen ed, tier 2, tier 3. It could apply for special education, though, as well, because the reality is that often our students have so many gaps in so many of these areas, and these 5 standards areas are really interrelated. We might see a student who struggles with managing their emotions in class, and we might say, oh, we just need to teach them some coping skills like deep breathing. But in reality, the student might struggle with interpreting other people's voice tones, their feedback, the words they're using. Other students and teacher in class might be saying things that are benign and not meant to offend the student, and the student just instantly goes from 0 to 100 because they misinterpret the social cues of the other people in the room. And that is related very much to their difficulties with staying calm. So that's just one example of this complex web of how these skills relate to each other. So often, like I said, with the 10 students in front of us, there's so many gaps with each of them, and the skills are so interrelated that we do end up having a pretty broad, comprehensive focus even for our intervention. That sounds a little counterintuitive, but it's the reality in many cases. So we might cover quite a few of these skills.